We don't want to select new SIDS or stars. All right, we're going to land on 4 right down in Newark. All right, so still Pats 5, Pats, Nelly, Flosi 3. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and generate, and if we do come back to Boston, it's going to be a 4 right on Merritt Roebuck 2. All right, so that's only if we come back. We're not coming back. We're going to make it. The weather's pretty good in Newark. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I've got my 125.1. I'm going to put the touches on so you guys can see it. Where is show touches? Okay. All right, so again, right, weight and balance, parking brakes are on. I've got 108 passengers and this much cargo for 125.1. Got it? 125.1. Right? Just recalibrate real quick. And I always fly through the cockpit. Although sometimes when I land and I try to kick the rudder, it does that to me. Or this to me when I'm trying to do this. Right? Gotta watch those crosswinds. Alright. So 270 at 5. Yeah, I mean, we could go off 27, but they're using 9 for some reason in Boston in real world ops right now. So that's what we're going to use. We try to always use what is in the real world, right? Let's see. What else do we have here? All right, so we have to generate our flight plan, and I'll put it into Slack. All right, so that's good, 16,000. It's going to be a 10-minute taxi out, about 300 pounds. So remember, your important number in simbrief is your 0 fuel weight. Don't worry about what it says about passengers or whatever. Generate OFP. Yes, I wish to generate, right? So this is going to give us our fuel, right? And then once we get our final fuel, we'll be all set for our, right? So it's telling me 11,370, right? So let me just get that loaded in. And it's not going to be right on the money. It's going to be close. So 11,373. So if I can get like 11,400. Yeah, there we go. 11,369. You have to be gentle, right? So let's shoot back out of here. I also need to start up in-flight. Alright. Daniel, I'm going to pop in and make sure you're ready to go. Now, to use Infinite Flight Assistant, or In-Flight Assistant, I just need to drag it up here on my iPad. Right? I'll reset the camera, and then all I do is I just swipe it over there, right? Alright. So, I'm on gate 30. All right. I'm going to get this simbrief plan, and I'm going to open it up. Over here, I've got my charts all ready to go on my iPad. And we are just boarding, right? So the only thing we have on now is navigation lights. I'm going to go ahead and join Boston Unicom. And I'm just going to make sure they haven't switched runways yet. Don't believe they have. It does not appear that they have. Nope. Nope, still using runway 9. Yep. All right. Just waiting on you, Daniel. So I'm just waiting for our new pilot, Mr. Daniel Anacone. Don't forget to change your call signs. I've got 2279 set here. As far as I know, we are broadcasting. Yes, we are indeed. All right. So as soon as Mr. Daniel gets here, we will be good to go. Usually for takeoff, so I'm light. So I'm going to set about 7, or I'll set about 9% trim, because I don't want it to over-rotate. 9 usually works pretty well for me. Why are you on? Nope. Yeah, nope. Nope. Yep, nope. Yeah, no, Daniel, spawn on a... Alright, just waiting on him to spawn into another gate here. Systems, so we're boarded. We're ready to go. I'm on Boston Unicom. Let's just take a look at the map, make sure nobody's popping. Doesn't look like anybody's inbound. We'll be able to shoot out on 9. Slight tailwind takeoff. So I'm going to go ahead now that Daniel's here. I'm going to go ahead and call for taxi. So we're taxiing to 9. Okay, so push back. Beacons. Beacon lights. Daniel, do not push back. Stop your pushback. You wait. One pushback at a time. We don't push back at the same time. It's... Ooh. Okay, so we'll start up number 1. And once we're set there, flaps 1. Okay, so we'll taxi off to 9. Oh, forgot. Well, I can check the flight controls while we're underway here. Okay. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Full down. Full up. Neutral. Rudder left, neutral, rudder right, neutral. So down the bottom here, set up load, fuel remaining, fuel used. Remember, we're looking for 136 and change on the takeoff. At virtualBlue, our maximum taxi speed is 25 knots. brakes here. Try to take the corners at slower speed. So we're going to be crossing runway 4 right. Or 4 left, sorry. So I generally hand fly my departures up to about 10,000. You know, some guys that I've seen, they'll just do crazy things. So I'm going to go ahead and hit landing lights. All right, check that way. Check that way. Good to go. Crossing. I'm going to scoot right across. Landing lights off. So I need to burn about 60 pounds of fuel still. So I'm just going to hold here for a minute, run through my final checks. All right, so we have to hit claw 4,000 or above. Landing lights. Strobe lights. All right. So good to go. Back into the cockpit. Just want to right there. Okay. Now we're going to use, we're pretty light as A320s go, so we're going to use a flex power, probably about 88 to 90%. All right, so we spool up to about 50% power. Let it stabilize. Okay, now I'm going to come on up to about 80% N1, 88% N1. Actually, we're going to go 91. Runway 9 is a short runway. Okay. Speed's alive at 60. I'm holding down forward pressure. 100 knot checks. I over-rotated there with about 11.5 degrees. Gear up. Gear up. Gear up. Gear up. Ever since they changed this command on Infinite Flight Assistant, it's been a real pain in the butt. Gear up. Gear up. Got to do it quick, apparently. So I'm over-rotating. We're good there. We can go 12.5 to 15 degrees pitch. Once we get to 1,500 feet, we'll do a thrust reduction and accelerate. Okay. Climb thrust, about 87%. This is that sinking feeling you feel after takeoff, right? Come back down. We got to hit claw. $4,000 or above, that's not going to be a problem. If we were heavy, it might be a problem. All right, so we're accelerating the whole time here. Remember, 203 knots with trending up. Flaps 0 degrees. Flaps 0 degrees. All right. So we're looking for heading 122. I'm going to try to maintain. I'm accelerating now to 250 knots. We hit that 4,000 feet mark, no problem. All right. Okay, we're about 30 seconds out of claw. Whoa, a little too much. Looking for 250, and then we'll kick the auto thrust in. I wish it was more Airbus-like, but it isn't. Okay, turning for Fenway, Fenway. So 122 we're looking for, right? Okay, I'm going to punch in the auto throttle now at 250 knots. All right. I'm going to set my vertical speed, and you'll see why in a minute. And I'm going to hit nav. I was close to the mark. Set. Altitude 16,000. Set altitude 16,000. Some reason it does that every time. I don't know why. So about 2,200 is good for a light airplane like this. Okay, so coming through 10,000, we're going to accelerate to 300 knots for the climb. So watch how I do this, right? And the landing lights will go off as well. Landing lights off. Okay, right? I'm going to punch off that, and bump the power up to about 69%. And bring it down to about 1,800 feet. So now we're increasing on the speed here, kind of naturally, right? It's a 300-knot climb. But again, as per our flight plan, right, we will be cruising at 274 knots once we're up to speed. Or altitude, rather. Once we're up to altitude, we'll be at 274. I think it's got us at Mach 0.58 up there. So as you go up, the Mach number increases and the IAS decreases. So I'm controlling this with vertical speed. Now notice my trim's off, so I want to negate that trim so that there's nothing here, and it saves on fuel as well. Alright, so I'm going to again punch in and bring it back up to 300 knots. Go ahead and zoom in. Alright, once we get to Pat's, at Pat's, we were supposed to have... Alright. So when we get to Pat's, we're supposed to have... I gotta go into my Safari. Pat's, we were supposed to have burned 1.8 at Pat's. So we will use 1.4. So when you manage the climbs like this, and you do the speeds that simbrief sets on that minus 15 performance factor that took MJ and I quite a long time to figure out, once you've kind of mastered how to climb, you don't just climb at 2,000 the whole time. You slow it back down. We might even be ahead of the fuel curve when we get there. So I'm going to go to 1,000. All right, coming through Dedham now. We're on the way to Pat's. We'll be at Pat's in 5 minutes. But if you recall, the top of climb was supposed to be somewhere around here. So if we draw a line on down, we're going to hit that just about on the money. All right, and at Pat's, 1,000 to go. At Pat's, we're supposed to have burned 1.8, and we're supposed to have 9.4 remaining. So, roughly, right, it's a rough estimate. Usually you have a little, it's kind of funky, to be honest. All right. So I'm going to take the autopilot out, because if I try to drop the speed, it's just going to go to idle. All right, and I'm going to start decreasing our speed now, so that we hit 274 knots right as we get up to, and the punching in and out. So if, say I wanted to be 290 knots, right, I would just take the autopilot off, and then right about here, I'll punch it back in, and it'll settle a couple of knots on either side. So I'm looking for 274 according to the flight plan, which should give us a ground speed of about 314 knots. Roughly. Right? So we're leveling out now. Okay, so now we're leveling out just before Pat's. All right, I'm going to punch it in. 274 knots at the top of climb. See how I punch that in? It stabilizes a little bit better. Okay. There we go. Needed to climb above 16 for that. I have it set for 16,000. Alright, so I'm going to look at the FLOC3 chart. So next, Nelly, 16,000 or below. Right? Crank is at 7,000. So 53... 24, so we got 9,000 feet to descend, and so 824 is 32 miles, so I'm going to use my virtual hub calculator. To check this, I'm also going to plug my phone in, or my iPad rather. Is that 274? Sometimes with the auto thrust, if you have a headwind, it's better to put it about a knot above what you want, and it'll settle out at that speed. So I need a quick top of descent. So we're cruising at 16,000. Our cruise Mach is going to be 0.57. Is that what we're supposed to be at? 0.56 it says, actually. Depends on, the Mach number depends on the ambient temperature as well. Yep, 0.56, there we go. Top of descent. Okay. So, we want to be at 7,000 feet, and we're doing Mach 0.56. 30 miles. So, probably going to descend just after Kingston. We'll start down. we'll cross Flowsy at about 10,000, right? So crank needs to be 7,000. So I just put that in there. Is there a speed limit? Of course, it's 250 knots below 10,000 feet. Shaft spotter. And then, so now I'm going to look at the ILS chart for 4 right. So when we get to Grady, we need to be at 2,800 feet. When we get to Doin, it's 1,700 feet. And then the runway fix, that's always 50 feet because you're just crossing the runway, right? So let's talk about landing speeds. All right, I'll probably descend to 6 miles from Kilma. So I'll probably be looking to be at 3,000 at Kilma. All right, so Pats, so about 100, 200 pounds over where we were supposed to be. It's within limits. It's a little tougher on these short hop flights to get the fuel just right. Usually wind up burning a little more than you expected. Excuse me. Alright, so that's set up. And then we'll set up the speeds. So I need my SATA chart. So on the bottom page of the SATA chart, which I'm going to put in general right now, the A320 performance, on the last 2 pages of it, all right, so our landing weight, according to simbrief, is going to be 131,700, so about 132,000, 131, 132,000. So, the lowest speed, VREF, or VLS, for flaps full, for 130 and 132,000 is 129. Alright, so I'm going to check the weather at Newark. I forgot to tune out of Boston Unicom as well. I'm going to check the weather here at Newark. 180 at 3. I don't know if Newark's changed runways yet. I'm going to have a look on my... Nope, they're still using 4 right. So 180 at 3. So it's negligible. So we add 1 knot to that. Plus, I don't even know if that's not even a headwind. I'm going to do my conversion calculator. And let's see, surface. So 038 is the runway heading. 180 at 3. So we get a 2 knot crosswind and a 2 knot tailwind. Probably not a big deal. So, well, usually it's add the headwind. So 129 plus 5 is 134. So we'll fly the approach at about 136. And we will set up to slow to 136, and I'll put in 137 here for doing, right? So we'll be configuring. Doing is where we'll drop the gear about 5 miles out, 6 miles out. We'll drop the gear and we'll slow to our approach speed. All right. So we'll be doing 210 in the terminal area. All right. We'll slow to 210 in the terminal area. All right, we'll go to 190. Actually, usually they give you like a 170. So Kilma Grady, so go to 170 there. Right, we'll have flaps 2 out. Be looking to drop flaps 3 and slow to 137. So its speeds could progress down. So I think from Hoke here, and there are approaches that actually have all this set up. So let's see what kind of fuel we're supposed to have burned for Nelly. For Nelly, it's supposed to be 2.4, and that's not going to happen. I don't know what's going on here. Yep, I got that right. 16,000, 0.56, 314 knots ground speed. The wind is 273 at 39, so that's close enough. It's within 10. Interesting. Very interesting. There we go. Needed a little more. So during a longer flight, I'll use fuel flow, right? And if you notice down here, so it's saying about 4,500, right? So let's go 4,500 knot calculators divided by 60. That's 75 gallons a minute times 4.3, 322 gallons. So we're going to be at Nelly. We'll still be about 200 gallons behind. It'll be about 2.7, 2.6. Nice day for flying. I kind of hope they get rid of this. They make the A320 more cabin, you know, like you're looking out the window. This is pretty much the seat that I usually get when I fly on the JetBlue flight. 5F is my seat when I leave Boston, and then 5A is my seat when I come back to Boston. So we're going to start on down. Right? Minute and 36 seconds. 4:38. So it's about 10 minutes. For the new pilots, just so you know, the way I usually set things up on the bottom bar here, the status bars, I go ground speed, ETE destination, distance to next, ETE to next. In flight, I'll use the fuel flow, but then as soon as I start descent, you know, for takeoff and landing, I use load, but as soon as I get up to cruise, I'll use fuel flow so I can just do fuel calculations. And then fuel remaining and fuel used. So I'm going to pop this back to load now. But that's the best way at a glance to get all the numbers you need from simbrief, etc. And you can do some calculations like I just did to find out what kind of fuel you're going to be burning. She just won't hold 274 knots, barely. Love that wing flex on the 320, by the way. It did such a nice job. They did change the crosswind behavior a little bit with the 320. It's still pretty good. It's always been an improvement, but you really got to watch the nose wheel now when you come down. Yeah, I think I'm going to do another crosswind tutorial on the A320 as well. So, Nelly, and then, where do we go? Nelly, and then it's not named because it's not in. I'll have to note that and send the waypoint in. So, Nelly, Kingston. No, I don't have it. Why? No. Pauling. Oh, they do have IGN. That's weird. There we go. Kingston on there now. And then that's Flossie after that, I believe. Yep, so they don't have Flossie. Gardner Airport is right next to Flossie, so this must be Gardner. Orange County. And then Stewart Field to be on our left there as we go by. That's up by Newburgh, New York. Be crossing the Hudson here any moment. A little hazy, but I'm going to be entering the Hudson Valley and descending down over the New Jersey side of Manhattan. So what did they say for Nelly? It was supposed to be 2.4, I believe. Or was it 2.8? And Nelly was supposed to be 2.4. Kingston should be 3.2. And Kingston's in 10 minutes. Or 9 minutes. So we go fuel flow 44, right? All right, 73 gallons times 8.5, 623 plus 2766, 3.38. So, yeah, we'll be closer to the speed once we hit Kingston. And remember, we're going to be speeding up for the descent. Just want to check my battery settings here. Wow. The stream really kills me. 52% on the iPad right now. And then crank is our, yep, crank. Oops. There's the Hudson Valley up ahead. You can see the mountains too. They did such an amazing job. FDS, can't thank them enough for bringing us back on a mobile tablet of all things. You know, we're only a couple updates away from having flight management computers, which we, kind of already have here in a basic sense. And fly-by-wire Airbus. They can do a few more updates here and there. Hopefully that A330 rework will come out. So 6 minutes to Kingston, 6 minutes and 35 seconds. I know this is the boring part. And always check your trim there to make sure there's no magenta bar there. That's very important. Alright, so we needed 30 miles at 1800. Gonna step away and leave this on the charger for just a few minutes. Try to pick up some juice prior to a landing. So just after Kingston, we'll be starting our descent. And remember, in the descent, it's 300 knots. Sorry about that. In the descent, it'll be 300 knots. So I'll allow it to pick up some steam as we go downhill. So 4 minutes, so about 5 minutes, and we're going to pick up speed. Set altitude 7,000. Set altitude 7,000. All right, so I'm going to turn this off. Go to about 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's 8,000 feet in 4 minutes. I don't know. Oopsie. I don't know why that set speed is. I don't know why that did that. So once we make the corner at Flossie, it'll actually set. It'll set the appropriate rate of descent. You'll see it pop in here. I'll show you. In-flight assistant will set the appropriate rate of descent. So I'm going to go to about 303 and then punch the speed in. Okay, 302. Set it to 300 because it's 300 knot descent. All right, and we're going to slow to 250. There's the Hudson and Stewart Airport, I believe. There's the town of Newburgh and the bridge. If I pop outside here and see if I can see it. Stewart should be around here somewhere. It's off the left wing, so Newburgh, so that's Poughkeepsie. So Newburgh, New York is right there. There's the bridge. When I lived in New York, I actually used to take a boat from here to here. And then there's another town called Haverstraws down in there. That's Bear Mountain, West Point. So I'm going to start bringing the speed back. Set speed 250. Set speed 250. That's a nice picture right there. There we go. Set altitude 7,000. I didn't do it fast enough. Hopefully I didn't catch a violation there. I think I did it quick enough. almost got caught. I don't think it turned red. All right, so see, it just picked up the vertical speed of 1216. So I've trimmed out to 0. Still a little bit of negative trim on it. All right, see, I don't think we can pick up Newark quite yet. Nope. So we're going to descend down the Jersey side of the Hudson. It's a nice picture right there. $1,000 to go. So we're angling to this crosswind right now. Just double check the weather at Newark. Still 180 at 3, 10-mile visibility. So there's no other restrictions on this particular arrival. All right, so we got where's my FLOC chart? Crank 7,000 down to Sparta, Shaft, Sparta. So that should be, yep, that's a VOR. So we're going down to Sparta, New Jersey now. Out west of New York. Uh-oh. Slow call response times, that's okay. Let's see if we can see New York popping up here anywhere. Let's see, Shaft. What were we supposed to have for fuel there? So 7.4. Yep, right on the money at Shaft. And 3.8. 2 and 4.0. So it should be just about right. if a little bit over. Did I? Oopsie. I forgot my landing lights below 10,000 because I was trying to duck a violation. How are we holding up? Gain 3%. Should be able to get Newark now. Let's see. Nope, not quite. Coming into the airspace here shortly. I have to look and see what ATC does with these flights. But if I just take a picture here, right, you guys will actually see, and I'm going to post this online as well, take that picture, and you'll see that this is pretty much how they vector them. They vector them to Kilma for Grady doing. Going to have to listen to Newark approach. Might actually go to Palm Beach from Newark. Or where did I go from Newark? I went to Lauderdale from Newark. Did I? No. No, I flew from Newark to Palm Beach the first time, and then I flew back. No, what did I do? I did Kennedy to Kennedy to Palm Beach, and then on my way back I flew Lauderdale to Newark. Still looking for Newark. Got Teterboro now, so that's getting close. This is a boring arrival. Looks like there's some traffic in the New York area here. So Filbo is 7.0 and 4.1. So we're a little bit over. And let's just double check here. So we got 10 minutes to the airport. So 2:20 to KEWR. All right, so we're going to start a descent now. Set altitude. No, I'll do 225. 500. So we need to drop 4,000 feet. Set altitude 5,000. Somewhere in here should be Newark. Still nothing. 180 at 3 still. It's 2,800 at Grady. What is this? Morristown. So New York's pretty far off our left wing there. You can actually just see the tip of Manhattan. So there's the tip of Manhattan out there, Staten Island. And we'll be swinging around that way. A lot of times I will do distance to this. So we got 36 track miles to go here. There we go, Unicom. Announce inbound for landing. We're going 4 right. And pretty kind of be making a left traffic. I gotta be honest, the one thing I didn't like about this update is that FDS took away our flight numbers. Like, you used to have to put a space between it, and that's okay, but, you know, they're never going to say 2279 on the radio. They'll say 2279. So I kind of like that you could put, you know, the space there. So if, say, I was JetBlue 918, it would say, you know, I'd put JetBlue, you know, JetBlue and then 9 space 18, and it would say 918 instead of 918. But now it's just all numbers. A little more realism would be, you know, 227, JetBlue 2279, which is what pilots would actually say. So we're kind of on the left downwind right now. Set altitude 3,000. Now remember, we're light here. I'm going to go from fuel flow to load. Yeah, so see, we're already under where we were supposed to be. Oh no, our landing, what was our landing weight supposed to be? I got to check simbrief. Landing weight was supposed to be, what, 139.6? When we get to Newark, it's supposed to be 6.6 and 4.5. 131.7, so it expects us to burn 200 pounds of fuel. But as we go lower and slower and start to drop flaps, we'll be burning more fuel. The flow will go up. So this has got us going to 210 for Grady. Or Kilmer, rather. And I'm actually going to set... Yeah, we don't want to do that. It's actually one waypoint ahead. 170, 137. There we go. All right, now I'm going to punch this autopilot. The speed, punching the speed is really helpful. Right? So we're on base. Okay, 2800. Gonna lock in for right. Once you intercept, usually they'll drop you to 190. Set speed 190. Set speed 190. All right, remember 203 is our clean speed. Flaps 1. Flaps 1. Flaps 1. Usually the trim over here is usually around 20 to 30% on landing. Right? And this is kind of a hard intercept. It's like 50-degree intercept. And remember, we're going to be going hopefully the autopilot. We got a good crosswind, so hopefully we can crank her right around. This should start moving any second. Here it comes. I'm going to line up. Flaps 2. There it is. Okay, so I have the runway now. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off a nav. Alright, and I'm just going to hold it, and then I'll adjust our speed. Remember, we're 1700 at doing. Right? Here comes the ILS is coming alive now. About 7 miles out. We'll drop the gear. Right, and then we'll set up a descent and we'll set up our landing speed. Gear down. Flaps full. It's going to balloon. The plane's going to balloon up as the speed comes off, right? And we said 137, right? And we're going to settle into a descent here, about 700 feet per minute. All right. Okay. Now I've got it. The only thing's left is autopilot. All right. There's my 30% trim. Now this is going to almost be like we're on rails here. Right, small adjustments, a little bit low, which is okay. All right. Looks like we need about 138 here. Yep. Are you fucking nuts? All right. Don't want to go too far above it. All right. We got that crosswind. 1,000 stable. Small adjustments. Small adjustments is all. All right. I'm looking right for the bricks there. All right. Okay, small adjustments, small adjustments. Flaring. Oh, I floated it. Oh, good God. And I think I slapped it. Yep, no applause this time. First time landing with the cross tailwind. Big time floated that one. Terrible. Terrible.
What are you doing?
Come off the runway. Flaps 0 degrees. Oh, I know what happened there. I didn't have spoilers armed. Oof. I'm all over the place today. Terrible, terrible, terrible. We'll take the Bravos back here. Okay, cross.
You know what? I'll kill you today.
What's the matter?
Look at.
No. You gotta wait 5 minutes. Landing lights off. Strobe lights off. I believe JetBlue is down. There's the United terminals over there. I believe JetBlue's down here on the right. Terminal A. There it is. Find out what gate they used. And it's A17. So, take a look at the pictures here. A is down on the end. A17. Last one, right hand side in the corner. So I'm going over my taxi fuel. We're going all the way down there. So usually when I use spoilers on the descent, I'll wind up leaving them armed after the last time that I used them. So I don't have to worry about it anymore. Probably wouldn't have to go so far if I didn't float the landing either. There's always that. Oh, MJ's here. Where are you going, MJ?
Going to get changed.
Wow, they really stuck JetBlue in the back corner at Newark. Alright, A18, 17 is this one here. Double check that one more time. Indeed it is. Oh yeah. And that's how we do that, gentlemen. Where are you going, dude? MJ, why do you have a Boston flight plan in there? That's our JFK hub manager over here. Okay, so just so the new pilots can see, I forgot to take a screenshot of my fuel though. It was close. It was 6,000 remaining. And what did I load? My burn, or 5,900 remaining. So my burn was 11.4 is what we loaded, and I had 5.9. 11,400 minus 5,900. Burn was 5,500. So I'm going to put in 5540. So I go up here, just take a quick screenshot. I will post that in Validator, but I should have taken a picture of my fuel when I landed, but I was looking at it. So I'll put 5540 or something like that in my PIREP field. And that is how we do that. Thanks very much for watching.